Mic check, mic check. Oh hell yeah! So this will help me. This will help me build the channel. So YouTube puts a restriction on like when you can actually just go live, like outside, like people do the walking live thing, which I get it because it's kind of comfortable because it's so I guess like some people feel a little awkward sitting still, sitting in front of a camera. I used to have my own local TV show, and some of my guests would be, a little nervous, I guess, but I'd always be like, let's just kind of just have a conversation, just like we're just sitting there, just don't worry about the camera because you're not gonna be talking to the camera until like the end when you're putting out your social media and all that good stuff. So yeah, I kind of get it because I guess if you were kind of camera shy, then the walking kind of helps because you're kind of doing something as I guess maybe like a calming, like a coping mechanism for if you're camera shy. I don't know. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, in this election, stuff is crazy, and I guess like my thing is I am, I guess, like worried about the outcome, but I'm more worried about the process that got us there, and the ramifications they could have for us, even other like new migrants, anybody that's within the country, because let's just say for argument's sake, somebody's employing a massive voter fraud ballot scheme, right, and is successful at stealing the election. Like I saw some people on Facebook or Twitter that were basically saying that they didn't care, they wouldn't care as long as they got rid of Trump. Well, another problem, because people feel they'll feel emboldened to get elected that way, and use the media to shut out opposition. Like, it's really like these people and their ideology, like it's scary, like to watch these things be allowed to take place without challenge. It's going to cause a lot of damage to the country, and there's that video clip of George Soros saying, or quote saying, that the destruction of the United States would be the culmination of his life's work, and that's what this guy, like, especially just bought it up, or I can't remember exactly what he did. And he was, I don't care however you look at it. I mean, he was a Nazi sympathizer. I mean, he, Jewish guy, he would go around with the squads and just take the Jews their belongings. And I'm sure, like, worse, they probably didn't want to admit to on TV. But now you have $1 billion, and that's who saved you back in the day, where the Nazis allowed you to live because they thought you were Polish or something. So I mean, people kind of cast things like that aside. That don't mean anything. Someone just threw a picture of someone at a party or a business deal or something that is really kind of inconsequential in the same aspect. I'm just talking about fairness, I guess. Like, I don't know, I kind of jumbled that all up. It didn't really come across in a clear manner, but you know, when these people push these like global agendas, they aren't looking out for the citizens and the legal migrants, whether it be, you know, pre-citizenship or whatever, but it's not for the best for them, by no means. Like, it's all about other people and getting those people into power and fundamentally changing the system. It's the long game, you know, and we've, you know, well, not we, but, you know, the people that started the country were fleeing when they started the country. Now, when they came over and found it, that's a different reason, but when they, you know, decided like this was going to be our country, I mean, they were getting away from oppressive regimes like the monarch and their taxation system and all these other different things, and slavery. Right? Like, we get hit so hard on slavery, but we were trying to escape, or they were trying to escape the ways of the monarch, the way they ran their government and society and things like that. And yeah, we had some when they first settled this spot, it was to expand, I guess, like expand the empire. But then, you know, people were like, man, like it's not working out for us, and we want to declare our independence. And I just, you know, I don't know, like, I wonder if anybody can tell me. Come on, let's go back this way. All right, we'll go this way. I wonder if anybody can tell me what they feel has been oppressive coming from, I guess, a conservative point of view, or what policies. I know there's like restrictions on, I don't know, but I've seen so much division that's come from the left. I mean, they used to be my people. I mean, I played in the hip hop market for a long time. I'm half Mexican, you know. Loved being around, you know, love being around anybody, you know. It's not really, you know, I shouldn't, you know, make a point, oh, I love hanging out with my black friends. Well, I mean, I love all my friends, but I mean, I was immersed into Democrat, liberal, you know, society, and you know, and I didn't like the conservatives because of certain views that they had that I felt were intolerant at the time. I don't know anymore. I can't remember what those views were, if there were any. I mean, maybe I was being lied to back then. It wasn't really that political. But, you know, like, I always believe in helping people. I've always donated my time, my equipment or whatever to charities, to kids, you know, just whatever. And I believe, you know, I believe that everybody should have access to health care. I believe that, you know, if you can't afford it, you should get it. But I don't think, you know, like, someone made a good point where, you know, if somebody is just making just unhealthy life choices, you know, just things, you know, certain programs, like, if you're not going to put forth the effort, then you need to pay to get that taken care of. But, you know, having, like, staying healthy, preventing those things, yes, I think everybody should have access to that preventive care. So you don't have to deal with some of those other issues down the road. But then I started, you know, noticing, like, these people on the left, like, they just have become intolerant. And You know, like I'm always up for a good debate. I don't think it makes you a bad person to have different views. I mean, you know, within reason, but I enjoy debate. Like that's part of our democracy is we're built on different ideas and we debate them and then we compromise and we vote and we put forth for our citizens, you know. But come on, let's go this way. Come on. But they become increasingly intolerant and like there's, you know, like I couldn't have any of my views and, you know, be in even friends with some of those people. And you know, like I guess like my views that are to the contrary of them. One is main thing is illegal immigration, right? And I'm half Mexican, and I've had first generation family members that came legally. Something happened in the bureaucracy, and he had to come back illegally. But he was working on getting his things straight. You know, it wasn't just he was trying to hide under the radar. He was just trying to come back and be with his family because all of them were here, and he had to get. But he got it straight, right? But my mom, you know, which is the Mexican side, she after she left my dad, she started dating this Mexican guy. She's normal. I mean, she's Mexican. She was with a white dude for, you know, years. So, come to find out, you know, I found this out later on, but she died in, like, he was hitting her just like my dad was. You know, and like, poor thing, she just went from one abusive thing to another. And it's like my dad had just gotten I don't know, just used to it, I guess. You know, and so I didn't know that he was hitting her at that moment. I do remember one time I was paying her back some money I had borrowed from her, and I took it to her work, and she had this big bruise on her arm. And I asked her, I said, where'd you get that bruise from? And she's like, oh, me and your uncle Narva or whatever it was, you know, he hit me and messed around or something. It was something like one of the brothers hit her. And I was like, okay, and I just kind of played it off like she didn't make it out to be a big deal. And anyway, so June 7th, 1998, excuse me, she died in a car accident. You know, driving while he was drunk. You know, and get this, first of all, he was illegal. And like I said, had a family member, first generation, had to do that once. They were working on getting their stuff straight. But I'm telling you, this guy wasn't. So anyway, so he was illegal, and that was his 4th DUI. And you know, when they got to the hospital and he found out that she passed away, he fled to Mexico. And he stayed down there for, you know, I don't know, I can't remember how long. He ended up coming back to the United States, and he got picked up and got sentenced. I think it was like maybe 18 months or something, and you know, he did like less than a year. You know, and I guarantee it's because of his illegal status, of how that all went down. And then just to have the convenience of fleeing to Mexico, you know, not having any ties, like any paper trail of, like, you know, where you can be found here in the United States because you're doing things right. He just disappeared for a while, like a ghost, hoping he was going to get away with it. Hoping he was going to get away with my mom's. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm sure the camera angle was going wild, but yeah, she I mean, yeah, like he thought he was going to get away with it, and I guess if he had stayed in Mexico, it was probably a good there's a good chance that he would have got away with it. Like, let's open the borders, you know, let's don't check anything, blah blah. No, no. You know, and then you see the detrimental effects that it has. Like, when you look at Minnesota, and I think that's where most of the jihadis, American-made jihadis, I guess, were coming out of Ilhan Omar's state. And so, you know, like, that should be concerning, you know, like that. I know that there was policy that 30,000 migrants from, where is it from? Wherever she's from, I can't remember. But, I mean, that should be, you know, that should be a little concerning when there's a trend of jihadis, people that want to hurt us, that are within our United States, that don't operate by the same rules that we do. And when it comes to dealing with these elections or these investigations, like, they're using this to, not for the better of us. I promise you that. It's not for the better. It has nothing to do with us. Like, we're just in the way of, like, money and power. Come on, Big Bear. I mean, that's what I've been seeing. Like, going back to what I was saying, I used to be, you know, I guess, like, I've never really been like full-on Democrat, but I was like middle and largely leaning to the left on things, and just, you know, a little, you know, on the fence about a couple of issues that were geared toward more conservative. But I just, you know, I watched it become something that didn't sit right with me. You know, the abortion thing, like, I'm really pro-life. You know, I can understand, I guess, yeah, I can understand someone's panic, someone, you know, a one-time mistake. I don't know, that's kind of bad to say, you know, if you're pro-life, because it's like, well, you know, that life didn't matter. I'm just, you know, I feel like states that outlaw it completely can really have a counterproductive effect on women, and someone that, you know, may need it for medical purposes won't be able to get it. You know, I really do have a problem with. I mean, if you can't get on birth control, or you can't make somebody wear rubber, like, I shouldn't have to pay for that. Like, if you want to do it, you know, I don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, but like I said, I'm pro-life. But, Jesus. Damn yellow jacket was coming. He's right in my face. But, I mean, I damn sure don't want to have to pay for your mistake just because you're irresponsible, you know. And I know condoms aren't 100%, and I know pills aren't either, but they're like 98, 99% effective. And so, I don't know. I guess, like, you know, maybe I could get down with if you if you're on the pill, right, and you're actively trying to stop from being pregnant, and you get pregnant, and you really want to be pregnant, but you tried and tried and tried, then I say, okay, just, as soon as you find out, like, end it, where there's no nerve endings growing on that baby or anything. I get down with that. People make the argument about rape, and I don't know. Like, I feel like it's hard for me to make that decision as far as, like, if I was going to make policy on that, or policy against it, really, like not being able to, or being able to, I think my dog is about to take it. They just walk around with no direction. But yeah, I know it's still a life. I get that from the pro-lifers, but I also get the fact of, that's something, like, you already have to deal with that rape, emotionally and physically, and now this adds a financial element to it. Dude, your stomach's tore up, ain't it? And I don't know, psychologically how that would. Sorry if the camera angle's messed up. But I wouldn't know as a man firsthand how that would affect a woman. So I guess I would say, someone should have the option. Come on, buddy, come on, get out of the road, come on, buddy, come on. Yes, yeah, I would say someone should be allowed to have that option on there. Highly encourage them to give it up for adoption, and then maybe, I guess, like, if I was born out of a rape and my mom gave me up for adoption, I could understand it. I could, because it's like, I just don't understand, what part a child would play in helping that parent resolve that issue. I don't know, some people say, well, it's a gift from God, which is true. But that's, I'll pass on that one. But, and I believe in legalizing marijuana. I have a lot of addiction that runs in my family, and I didn't ever want to go down that road. My dad, my grandmother, my aunt, my cousins, my brother, my sister. I had my party time for a while, and I ended up partying a little too much at times, but that was a life that I knew I didn't want to lead, especially if I ever wanted to have anything in life. But I remember one time he was in Oklahoma, and he was working for this company that, like, you go out into the neighborhood and you try to sell magazine subscriptions. And so they would take him around different states, work those states for a little while, like these neighborhoods. And so he would call me, he'd go from one state to another, he'd call me. They put him up in hotel rooms. And anyway, he calls me one time and we're talking, and he said, well, it's about time for me to go back to jail. And I said, what? I said, what do you mean it's about time for you to go back to jail? He goes, well, about every year something happens, I end up getting arrested and I go to jail. And I said, well, how about you don't do it? right? How about you just don't do it? And he's like, I know, blah, blah. Dude, not even 2 weeks later, this dude got caught stealing. He was in Oklahoma. He got caught stealing an Oklahoma Sooners sweatshirt from Walmart. And he's not even an Oklahoma Sooners fan. Stupid. So he ends up going to jail for petty theft. You know, and I told him, I said, dude, like, that's gonna be your life. Like, you're just gonna get used to being institutionalized and where you feel safer. Like, I almost feel like he feels safer in jail than he does out in the wild, or out in you know, the community. I mean, he steals sometimes. He stole my sister's her wedding ring and some other stuff while her kids were there. And he just walked in, told the kids, he's like, I gotta talk to your mom about something. Walked in her room, and the kids knew she wasn't there. And stayed in there for a few minutes, him and some other person that was out in the living room, and just left. They called my sister, and yeah, they called my sister, and she called him, and she said, if you don't bring my damn jewelry back, I'm calling the police. And so he brought everything back to her except for one little ring, I think she said. But that's that, you know, that's that meth and that crack that people get off on. And that's why I smoke cannabis, because I don't want to take any pharmaceuticals I don't have to. Yeah, I don't want to take any pharmaceuticals that I have to. So that's that. Alright, well, we're going to end this now. I got to take a truck.